Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the 2026 Lucid Air Touring. As with all of my reviews, I'm going to cover all of the ins and outs and take this thing on a thorough drive. Of course, there's a whole lot of stuff to cover, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. To start, just climb on in the vehicle with the key fob and press the brake. The Air exists because Lucid fundamentally questioned every assumption about how a modern luxury EV should be engineered, packaged, and experienced. And the result is a car that feels genuinely different the moment you start peeling back the layers. Rather than adapting existing EV hardware or scaling up conventional layouts, Lucid developed the Air from a clean sheet around what they call the Lucid Space concept, an inside-out engineering philosophy that prioritizes efficiency not just in range, but how effectively the vehicle uses every inch of its physical footprint. That approach dictated everything from the Leap skateboard platform, which tucks a slim, energy-dense battery low beneath the floor, to the remarkably compact in-house drivetrain components that take up far less space than anything else in the segment. By aggressively miniaturizing the motors, power electronics, transmission, and differential into ultra-dense energy drive units, Lucid freed up space that most manufacturers simply give back to structure or unused volume. Which is why the Air delivers a cabin that rivals full-size luxury sedans despite its relatively sleek exterior dimensions. Along with the largest front trunk of any production EV and a cargo layout that's far more practical than the car's low aerodynamic silhouette would suggest. Aerodynamics were treated with the same level of obsession. Subtle surfacing, carefully managed airflow, and continual refinements throughout development ultimately pushed the Air's coefficient of drag down to an industry-leading 0.197. Making it one of the most aerodynamically efficient production cars ever built, regardless of powertrain. Importantly, Lucid didn't chase efficiency by simply stuffing in more battery capacity. Instead, they focused on what they call smart range, maximizing miles per kilowatt hour through low electrical losses, reduced mass, advanced thermal management, and extremely efficient motors, allowing the Air to deliver class-leading range figures while maintaining strong performance and keeping weight in check. Powertrain development followed the same ethos, with Lucid engineering everything in-house rather than relying on suppliers, enabling a modular system that can support 1, 2, or even 3 motors depending on trim, all operating within a high-voltage electrical architecture designed for both sustained performance and rapid charging. That hardware is paired with Lucid's proprietary charging and power management systems, which fully exploit the platform's voltage and efficiency advantages while remaining future-ready for bidirectional energy use. The result of all of this is a luxury sedan that doesn't feel like a compromise between performance, efficiency, and space, but rather a carefully resolved synthesis of all three. One that can scale from low-range efficiency to extreme performance without changing its fundamental character. From its elegant, purpose-driven exterior and airy open cabin, enhanced by features like the optional glass canopy, to the deep engineering beneath the surface that most owners will never see, the Lucid Air stands out as a rare example of what happens when an automaker is willing to rethink the fundamentals instead of sticking with convention, creating a car that's not just impressive on paper, but special in how cohesively it all comes together. For 2026, the Air is offered in 4 trim levels. The Pure, starting at $72,400, is the most accessible entry point and focuses on efficiency, smart packaging, and everyday usability, delivering the core Lucid experience. The Touring starts at $81,400 and is the heart of the lineup and arguably the best balanced option. Adding all-wheel drive, a significant performance bump, faster charging, and upgraded materials, while still preserving the efficiency and spaciousness that define the Air. The Grand Touring, starting at $116,400, takes the same formula and turns everything up, pairing even stronger performance with Lucid's largest battery and highest voltage architecture to create a true long-distance flagship that blends speed and class-leading range. Sitting at the top is the Sapphire, fully equipped at $250,500. It serves as a technological and performance halo, a 3-motor hypercar quick luxury sedan that proves just how far Lucid's in-house engineering and space concept can be pushed without sacrificing refinement or usability. All of those prices include a $1,500 destination charge. The Touring we're checking out today comes with an MSRP of $99,600. It features several options including Cosmos Silver Metallic Paint, Dream Drive Pro, Surreal Sound Pro, Mojave Leather with an Alcantara headliner, the Comfort and Convenience Package, and the Stealth Appearance Package. The Touring specifically is available in 6 exterior colors, 4 of which are extra cost options. The Air rides on a highly advanced aluminum-intensive chassis architecture that blends lightweight construction with precise control, starting with its suspension design. Up front, Lucid uses an aluminum-intensive virtual axis double wishbone layout paired with high-strength steel coil springs, a configuration chosen specifically to optimize camber control through the suspension's travel while maintaining a low scrub radius and consistent steering geometry under load. At the rear, the Air employs an aluminum-intensive multi-link suspension, again with high-strength steel coil springs, allowing Lucid engineers to independently tune longitudinal compliance for ride comfort while preserving lateral stiffness for cornering stability. Both the front and rear suspensions are equipped with adaptive dampers that independently control compression and rebound, operating at an exceptionally fast 500 Hz update rate. These dampers continuously react to road inputs and vehicle dynamics, and feature unique calibrations tied directly to the Air's selectable driving modes, allowing the Touring to transition from a more compliant, luxury-focused character in smooth mode to a firmer, more controlled setup in swift and sprint modes, without compromising body control or ride isolation. Steering duties are handled by an electrically assisted rack and pinion steering system that emphasizes precision rather than artificial weight. The steering features a relatively quick 13:1 on-center ratio paired with just 2.3 turns lock to lock, giving the Air sharp initial response without feeling nervous at highway speeds. Like the suspension, the steering setup receives mode-specific calibrations, subtly altering assist levels and effort buildup to match the vehicle's character in each drive setting. The result is a steering system that remains stable and relaxed during long highway cruising, yet delivers confident, predictable feedback when driving more aggressively. Braking performance is equally serious, with hardware sized appropriately for the Air's performance capabilities. Up front, the Touring uses massive 15-inch ventilated discs clamped by fixed 6-piston calipers, providing strong initial bite and excellent thermal capacity for repeated high-speed stops. At the rear, 14.8-inch ventilated discs are paired with fixed 4-piston calipers, ensuring balanced braking forces and consistent pedal feel under heavy loads. The braking system itself integrates a full suite of electronic controls, including 4-wheel analog brakes, electronic brake force distribution, traction control, stability control, and torque vectoring by braking, which subtly applies the brake force to individual wheels to enhance cornering stability and reduce understeer. Importantly, Lucid uses an electrically assisted, hydraulically linked brake booster rather than a true brake-by-wire system, preserving a more natural pedal feel. There are separate brake pedal calibrations that you can toggle within each driving mode, allowing for more immediate response when driving spiritedly. Regenerative braking is integrated via the accelerator pedal, using the electric motors to help slow the vehicle and recapture energy before seamlessly blending in the hydraulic brakes when additional stopping force is required. Wheel and tire selection further reinforces the Touring's balance between comfort, efficiency, and performance. Standard equipment consists of these 19-inch Aero Range alloy wheels wrapped in 245/45 Pirelli P0 all-season tires, featuring a compound and construction tailored specifically for the Air that prioritizes year-round usability, low rolling resistance, and a compliant ride. For a sportier look, you can upgrade to the 19-inch Aeronaut wheels, which are a more traditional alloy with a 5 split-spoke design. For drivers seeking sharper response and higher ultimate grip without significantly impacting aerodynamics, Lucid offers an optional 20-inch Aero Light alloy wheel fitted with Michelin Pilot Sport Summer tires, again using Lucid-specific compounds and construction. The 2026 Lucid Air lineup stands out as one of the most methodically engineered EV powertrain families on the road, because Lucid didn't develop separate drivetrains for each trim. Instead, they created a single, ultra-advanced propulsion architecture and scaled it intelligently, from efficiency-focused configurations all the way to hypercar-level performance. And that balance is especially clear in the Air Touring. At the core of every Air is Lucid's in-house electric drive unit, an extraordinarily compact assembly that integrates the permanent magnet motor, silicon carbide inverter, single-speed reduction gearbox, and differential into one tight package, with motors capable of spinning to an astonishing 20,000 RPM. A wide operating range that allows Lucid to use a single-speed transmission across the lineup without sacrificing low-speed response or high-speed efficiency. In touring form, the Air uses a dual-motor all-wheel drive layout with a 7-to-1 reduction ratio, producing 620 horsepower and 885 pound-feet of torque, delivered instantly and continuously, which is why acceleration feels effortless and linear at any speed. Power comes from a 92 kilowatt-hour battery pack using an 18-module layout and a 700-volt plus electrical architecture. And charging performance is a major part of what makes the Touring such a well-rounded long-distance EV. On a DC fast charger, the Air Touring supports charging speeds up to 250 kilowatt, which under ideal conditions allows it to add roughly 200 miles of range in about 15 minutes, or go from around 10 to 80% in roughly 20 minutes, making highway charging stops short and predictable. At home, the Touring supports level 2 AC charging at up to 19.2 kilowatt, which translates to a full charge in roughly 4.5 to 5 hours, making overnight charging easy to manage without special planning. That charging capability pairs with a 0 to 60 time of about 3.4 seconds, a 140 miles per hour top speed, and strong efficiency, with EPA estimated range landing at roughly 406 miles on 19-inch wheels, 377 miles on 20s, or 361 miles on 21s. What really elevates the experience is how configurable the powertrain behavior is. Lucid offers smooth, swift, and sprint drive modes which go far beyond throttle mapping. Smooth prioritizes efficiency and refinement, softening pedal response and dialing back inverter aggressiveness. Swift sharpens responsiveness while retaining a polished everyday character, and Sprint unlocks the most aggressive calibration, delivering maximum output, immediate inverter response, firmer torque vectoring, and the sharpest overall drivetrain behavior. Lucid also includes launch control, which preconditions the drivetrain and manages torque delivery to deliver repeatable maximum acceleration launches without overwhelming the tires. Step down to the Air Pure and you see the same philosophy tuned for efficiency, using a single rear-mounted motor with an 8.7:1 gear ratio, producing 430 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, paired with an 84 kilowatt-hour battery and 650 volt plus architecture, resulting in a 0 to 60 time of about 4.5 seconds, a 124 mile an hour top speed, and up to 420 miles of range. Move up to the Air Grand Touring, and the dual-motor, all-wheel drive hardware is pushed further, with output climbing to 819 horsepower, torque capped at 885 pound-feet, and a larger 117 kilowatt-hour battery on a full 900 volt plus architecture, enabling DC fast charging up to 300 kilowatt. 0 to 60 is rated at 3 seconds with a 168 mile an hour top speed and up to 512 miles of range. At the top of the lineup, the Air Sapphire turns the same integrated drive unit concept into a rolling engineering statement, using a 3-motor all-wheel drive layout with one front motor and twin rear motors, different front and rear reduction ratios, and a combined 1,234 horsepower and 1,430 pound-feet of torque, enabling sub-2 second 0 to 60 runs, a sub-9 second quarter mile at nearly 160 miles per hour, and a 205 mile an hour top speed, all while still exceeding 400 miles of range. The front seat environment in the Air immediately underscores how intentionally this cabin was designed, because everything from the proportions to the materials feels engineered to enhance space, light, and long-term comfort rather than simply impress at first glance. The overall design is low, wide, and horizontal, with a strong mid-century modern influence that emphasizes openness. Thin seatbacks, a slim dashboard, and a low cowl all work together to create an airy, lounge-like atmosphere that feels expansive. In this particular example, the interior is finished in Mojave leather, which elevates the interior into true luxury territory, with supple, natural grain leather extending across the front and rear seating surfaces, the headrests, steering wheel, upper dashboard, center console upper panel, door armrest, and the midsections of the door panels, all paired with a soft Alcantara headliner, pillar trim, and sun visors. This subtly enhances both touch points and acoustic comfort. Build quality is excellent throughout, with consistent stitching and piping, precise panel alignment, and a solid, well-dampened feel when interacting with the doors, console, and seats, while details like the open-pore carbon oak trim are lightly finished so you can actually see the wood grain, reinforcing Lucid's focus on authenticity rather than glossy excess. The seats themselves are a standout. Touring comes standard with 14-way power, heated, and ventilated front seats, offering a broad adjustment range that includes a fore and aft, height, cushion tilt, recline, 4-way lumbar, and extendable cushion length, all of which can be saved to individual driver profiles. Cushioning is well judged, supportive without being firm, while the bolstering provides good lateral support without feeling intrusive, making the seats equally comfortable for long highway drives or more spirited driving. For those who want to take things even further, Lucid offers optional 20-way power front seats with heating, ventilation, and massage, adding adjustable backrest bolsters, headrest positioning, and multiple massage programs with variable intensities, pushing the Touring firmly into flagship sedan territory. Even in this standard aluminum roof configuration, the cabin feels very open and airy thanks to the expansive glass area. But it's worth calling out that Lucid offers an optional glass canopy, which replaces the metal roof with a sweeping, heat-reflective glass panel that extends far overhead and dramatically enhances the sense of space for occupants, flooding the cabin with natural light while maintaining excellent thermal control. It's one of the most visually striking and genuinely transformative options available for the Air, especially for taller drivers who appreciate the added openness above the windshield header. Practicality has not been overlooked. With a deep, padded center console bin beneath the armrest, thoughtfully sized door pockets with soft linings, and a clean, uncluttered console layout that keeps everyday items close at hand without overwhelming the design. Taken as a whole, the front seat environment in the Lucid Air feels cohesive, calm, and meticulously considered, blending elegant design, high-end materials, exceptional seating comfort, and really cool options like the glass canopy into a space that feels very special without ever trying hard to prove it. The technology suite in the Air works as cohesively as it does because Lucid established a clear hierarchy between information display, vehicle control, and sensory feedback, designing the entire system as a unified operating environment. That philosophy is immediately evident in the 34-inch curved glass cockpit, which stretches across the dash and is positioned low and far forward to minimize eye movement and reduce distraction. Rather than functioning as a single monolithic screen, the glass cockpit is intelligently segmented by purpose. The central portion is dedicated to driving critical information, such as speed, power usage, range data, navigation prompts, and driver assistance visuals, presented in a clean, highly legible layout. On the far left side of the display, Lucid integrates a handful of virtual buttons that give the driver immediate access to core vehicle functions, including exterior lighting controls, windshield wipers, front and rear defrost, central locking, and the power charge port door. On the right side of the glass cockpit, Lucid provides a dedicated quick glance infotainment zone, offering fast access to features like audio controls, navigation overviews, telephone functions, smartphone mirroring via Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, in-vehicle Wi-Fi status, and related connectivity shortcuts, all presented in a way that keeps secondary information visible without overwhelming the driver's primary field of view. Beneath the upper display sits the 12.5-inch portrait-oriented pilot panel, which is engineered as the central command hub for the vehicle. From the lower screen, you manage virtually every configurable system in the Air. The entire climate control system, vehicle settings and user preferences, drive mode selection, charging limits, scheduling and energy flow visualization, and full positioning control of the front seats, steering wheel, and side mirrors, all of which can be stored to individual driver profiles so the car automatically restores your preferred setup when you enter. Lucid's interface structure is system-driven and logically grouped, keeping even deeper configuration layers intuitive rather than buried. And one of the most elegant integrations is that the pilot panel itself is power actuated, smoothly tilting upward to reveal a concealed storage compartment behind it, reinforcing the idea that the screen is part of the Air's physical packaging strategy, not just a digital surface. Climate control is fully managed through this interface and operates as a sophisticated automatic multi-zone system, with independent front temperature control and a dedicated rear zone as standard. Touring models equipped with the comfort and convenience package expand this to 4-zone climate control and add features like a heated steering wheel, heated precision wiper blades with a dedicated de-icing mode, soft closed doors, and additional rear seat amenities which I'll cover in just a bit. Integrated into the climate logic is creature comfort mode, which maintains a safe cabin temperature for pets while displaying a clear on-screen message to inform passersby that the interior is actively climate controlled. Voice interaction is handled through the Lucid Virtual Assistant, which ties directly into the system architecture and allows drivers to control things like navigation, climate settings, seat heating and cooling, media playback, and even access the digital owner's manual using natural voice commands, reducing reliance on touch inputs while driving. Audio is treated with the same clean sheet mindset as the rest of the Air, with the standard 9-speaker Surreal sound system delivering a clean, balanced bassline experience. while the available Surreal Sound Pro system in this example expands to 21 speakers with full Dolby Atmos integration, using dedicated height channels and precisely placed drivers to create a true three-dimensional sound field that's tuned specifically for the Air's quiet EV platform and unique cabin geometry. That spatial capability extends beyond entertainment into safety and awareness, with directional acoustic cues that localize alerts such as seatbelt warnings, blind spot notifications, and turn signals to their corresponding side of the vehicle, reinforcing visual information without adding clutter. Layered over all of this are 6 selectable interior and interface themes: Escape, Space, Solitude, Serene, Wonder, and Inspire, which reshape the cabin's atmosphere by altering color palettes, typography, animations, ambient lighting behavior, and the backgrounds of both displays, allowing the Air's digital environment to feel minimalist, expressive, or calming depending on preference. Safety in the Lucid Air is engineered as a fully integrated ecosystem, and that approach starts with the vehicle's underlying structure before extending outward into its active driver assistance technologies. The Air is built around a rigid, aluminum-intensive body structure with carefully engineered load paths and reinforced crumple zones designed to manage energy in frontal, side, and rear impacts, while the battery pack itself is housed within a heavily protected enclosure integrated into the floor structure. This not only safeguards the high-voltage system in a collision, but also contributes to overall torsional rigidity and a very low center of gravity, improving stability and reducing rollover risk. Passive safety is comprehensive, with dual-stage front airbags, a dedicated driver's knee airbag, front seat-mounted side airbags, and full-length side curtain airbags covering both rows, all coordinated by advanced crash sensors that tailor deployment based on impact severity and occupant conditions. Seatbelts incorporate pre-tensioners and load limiters to control occupant movement, and the seat structures are designed to help mitigate whiplash in rear impact scenarios. Layered on top of that structural foundation is Lucid's Dream Drive driver assistance system, which relies on an unusually deep sensor suite that includes multiple high-resolution exterior cameras, short and long-range radar, and ultrasonic sensors, with Dream Drive Pro adding a forward-facing high-resolution LiDAR unit to improve depth perception, object classification, and environmental modeling in complex or low-visibility situations. Cameras play a central role in how the Air communicates its surroundings to the driver, beginning with a surround view monitoring system that stitches together multiple camera feeds into a top-down 360-degree view, paired with dynamic proximity distance alerts that visually and audibly indicate how close the vehicle is to surrounding objects, complete with distance markers for precise judgment. Building on that capability is Curb Rash Alert, which uses side-facing cameras to detect curbs near the wheels during low-speed maneuvers and warns the driver before contact is made, an especially useful feature given the Air's large wheel options. Blind spot monitoring is also camera-based, and when a turn signal is activated, the Air will display a live blind spot camera feed directly within the glass cockpit, placing that information in the driver's natural line of sight rather than forcing attention to the center screen or mirrors. Forward-facing active safety features include forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, which continuously analyzes camera and radar data to identify potential impacts and intervene if the driver doesn't react in time. While lane departure warning and lane keep assist use camera-based lane recognition to gently guide the vehicle back into its lane if it begins to drift. Traffic sign recognition reads and displays posted speed limits and roadway signage in the instrument cluster, and rear cross traffic alert monitors approaching vehicles when backing out of parking spaces using rear-facing radar and cameras. Adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go functionality manages following distance in traffic, smoothly slowing the car to a stop and resuming acceleration as conditions allow. And when equipped with Dream Drive Pro, this system expands into hands-free highway assist, which allows true hands-free driving on compatible divided highways. Using a combination of camera-based lane recognition, radar tracking, and LiDAR depth mapping, Highway Assist maintains precise centering and speed control while continuously monitoring surrounding traffic. And it supports hands-free lane changes initiated by the driver via the turn signal, automatically verifying that adjacent lanes are clear before smoothly executing the maneuver. An inward-facing driver monitoring system ensures the driver remains attentive, issuing escalating alerts if engagement drops, keeping the driver firmly in the loop. Low-speed assistance is further enhanced by Auto Park Assist, which uses the full sensor suite to identify suitable parking spaces and then automatically steer, brake, and shift the vehicle into place while continuously monitoring its surroundings. The rear seat environment is one of the areas where the Air really separates itself, starting with the exceptionally wide opening rear doors, which swing out to nearly 90 degrees and create a huge unobstructed opening that makes entry and exit far easier than you'd expect in a low aerodynamic sedan. Once inside, Lucid's approach to interior color becomes more apparent. Regardless of theme, the cabin is subtly two-tone, something that's less obvious up front but clearly defined in the back. In this interior, the front of the cabin is finished in a darker shade, while the rear seats, carpeting, and lower sections of the rear doors shift to a lighter contrasting gray, visually opening up the space and dividing the rear doors into upper and lower zones in a way that feels intentional and architectural. Space is genuinely impressive, especially legroom, which feels closer to a long wheelbase chauffeur car than a midsize luxury sedan. At 5 foot 10 inches, I had ample room to stretch out, slide my feet forward, or comfortably cross my legs, and the flat floor plays a major role in improving overall leg and foot space for all three seating positions. The rear bench itself is wide enough to comfortably accommodate 3 medium-sized adults, with 3 full-size adjustable headrests and a surprisingly wide center seat that doesn't feel like an afterthought, while the outboard positions remain the most supportive for longer drives. Practicality is well addressed, starting with a fold-down center armrest that includes a small open tray, a covered storage compartment, and 2 cup holders. And when the armrest is lowered, a trunk pass-through opens up, allowing you to carry longer, thin items while still seating 2 rear passengers. Storage back here is excellent, with wide lower door pockets, dual seat back pockets, and a large pull-out drawer integrated into the back of the center console for personal items. Touring models equipped with the comfort and convenience package add heated rear seats in all 3 positions, a 4-zone climate control system, power rear and side window sunshades, and a rear center console touchscreen, which allows rear occupants to directly control rear climate settings and operate the rearmost power sunshade without relying on the front seats. Rear ventilation is equally strong, with adjustable air vents in the B-pillars and additional vents in the back of the center console, ensuring even airflow and consistent comfort across the rear cabin. And overhead on either side, you'll find grab handles and integrated LED lighting, adding both convenience and subtle ambient illumination for nighttime entry and exit. For families, latch anchors are located in the outboard seating positions, with top tether anchors positioned behind each headrest, making child seat installation straightforward without compromising passenger space. Altogether, the Lucid Air Touring's rear seat feels deliberately engineered rather than secondary, combining exceptional space, thoughtful safety provisions, strong ventilation, and genuine luxury features into a rear environment that's every bit as considered as the front. The trunk on the Air is notable not just for its capacity, but for its exceptionally large and unusually shaped opening. Lucid engineered the rear body structure and hinge geometry to create a very wide and tall trunk aperture, minimizing intrusion from hinge arms, cut lines, and surrounding bodywork. The result is an opening that's physically larger than what you'll find on most cars, allowing bulky or awkwardly shaped items to be loaded straight in without angling or forcing them past tight pinch points. This design supports an impressive 22.1 cubic feet of rear cargo volume, accessed via a power-operated trunk lid. Inside, the trunk continues to prioritize usable space through a multi-level storage layout. Beneath the primary load floor is a deep cargo well that adds meaningful vertical capacity and allows heavier or taller items to sit lower in the vehicle, improving both stability and packaging efficiency. Along the side walls, Lucid integrates 2 storage pockets to help organize smaller items. One houses a 12-volt power outlet for running accessories directly from the cargo area, while the other is dedicated to securing the charger cable set, keeping it isolated and preventing movement while driving. When additional length is needed, the 60/40 split rear seats fold down to extend the cargo area forward for longer items. There are, however, a couple of practical drawbacks tied to the Air's very low ride height and sleek rear profile. Because the car sits low, you have to bend down more than usual to access the trunk, which becomes more noticeable with frequent loading. The trunk lid striker also protrudes outward, and if you're not paying attention while leaning in and standing back up, it's easy to bump your head on it. Ask me how I know. Up front, the Air complements the rear cargo area with an exceptionally efficient and genuinely large 10 cubic foot front trunk, easily the largest frunk I've personally seen in any EV. Rather than a shallow accessory compartment, the frunk uses a layered layout similar to the rear. The upper section offers substantial usable space, while a deep storage well beneath the floor allows additional items to be tucked away securely. As with the rear, the front floor panel can be removed entirely to increase vertical clearance for taller cargo. Combined, the Lucid Air delivers 32.1 cubic feet of total cargo volume across both ends of the vehicle. But more importantly, it achieves that space through thoughtful shaping, oversized access points, and functional compartmentalization, making it one of the most usable cargo layouts in the EV sedan segment. Well everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like down below because it really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider that as well and make sure those notifications are on. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.